Hey guys, welcome back to The Reader. Today we're going to continue the Chicks Dig Jerks series with an article entitled Chicks Dig Jerks, a Series. Originally published August 31st, 2009. Some men and most women are so afraid of facing the truth about the gina tingle that even when the evidence is slapping them in the face, you will hear them say things like, oh, women don't really want assholes. They just want nice guys who are confident and strong. Weasel words. Exhibit A. Love letters from women to death row inmates. Let's take a late summer's jaunt through some of these declarations of undying love for men who have stabbed, shot, strangled, raped, disemboweled, chopped up, tortured, violated in sundry horrific ways, and otherwise demonstrated many qualities of the confident and strong man with their unfortunate victims. Okay, so the following is a quote from the Prison Talk forums, which is a forum for women who write letters to death row inmates, and I quote, "It happened to me, and I am considered the most level-headed person going. And then people decided I lost my mind. But I wouldn't swap my man for the world. Sometimes you just have to take a chance. What have you got to lose? I doubted my feelings at first. I just figured it would be another complication for him and for me. But now we are as happy as can be. You could find love on the outside, but would you be any better off? Any man can betray a woman and vice versa. But if the love you find is real, it will stand everything that lies ahead. I know my guy could be there for the next God knows how many years, before/if execution comes. But I will be with him all the way, and I will be there/if when he dies. Grab any happiness you can. I was married for several years, and my husband turned out to be a pretty useless liar. He got caught, but with my guy, I have found a person who is so completely on my level. I never thought I could find this, but I did, and I'm always by his side. Just be careful. Some are charmers, some are just looking for kicks, but some are genuine and need loving. So if you don't have experience of death row apart from this guy, then just heed that warning. I have been involved with death row for a good 10 years, and I have learned a lot, both good and bad. But if you really feel it is right, then you just go for it and enjoy it." So we got another quote from the lovely ladies at the Prison Talk forums, and here it goes. "It took months for me to find out the word for what I had been feeling since only a few weeks after I began to write a death row inmate. I only told him yesterday. The word that had escaped me was intimacy. Not intimate in the physical sense or touch, but truly intimate. The two of us almost seem to live within each other. We know each other in a way no one else has ever known either of us. He says that I scare the hell out of him, because it is as if I can see through to his soul. I feel the same with him. He knows and understands all." Unquote. Someone on the forum asked what everyone's loved one did to get on death row, and this is how one woman answered, and I quote, "Capital murder is the only thing someone can do to be sentenced to death for. My husband was only an accomplice. He didn't commit the crime he was so unjustly sentenced for. I, however, do not feel like anyone should ask that question in the Loving a Death Row Inmate forum, but that's just my opinion." Unquote. Yeah, best to ignore that 800-pound bloodthirsty monster in the room. I'd imagine women who love death row inmates are exceptionally skilled at rationalizing away unpleasant realities. A common theme among the letters is how many women protest their lovers are innocent, and how wrong it is of the state to kill people who kill people to prove that killing people is wrong. That's an actual forum comment. More love notes for killer blokes, and I quote, "Wow, I came here because I wondered how women of lifers are like. Now I know. They're full of compassion and patience enough to share with everyone here and over there with their men. It's amazing how some of you stand by your man and have not had a divorce within the first 5 years of incarceration. Amazing! I could just cry by thinking how you endure that. Wow. Also, it seems like intimate loved ones of lifers could tolerate celibacy. How? Wow, I just knew that love does exist without the necessity of sex. I just wanted to see the words of those women with my own eyes. Now I know that type of love does exist, unconditionally. God BLESS, all of you special people. Smile." Unquote. Women would rather endure years of celibacy and separation in the faint hope their death row lovers will be released than go on a date with a law-abiding beta in the outside world. And quoting again from the Prison Talk forums, "I got my first letter from my new friend on DR. I have to admit I was a little timid, but when I read his first letter, all those feelings went away. He's so nice, friendly, and really warm. He was so happy to get my letter. I must say that I'm really looking forward to getting to know him." Unquote. A lot of death row love affairs start with a woman writing a letter to one of the inmates. Why do so many women feel compelled to write tender, inquisitive, heartfelt notes to killers in prison instead of writing to Nathaniel Schnerdling, the accountant, who lives across the street? After reading this blog, you should know the answer. Somewhere in America, a girl just received a poem from an idealistic young beta and shared it with her girlfriends for laughs. So Heartiste goes on to share several more paragraphs of the Prison Hamsters forum. I'm just going to skip it because it's just inane nonsense. I'm just going to go straight to his commentary on that. This loving a death row inmate forum is ripe for righteous trollery. I would log in under a female pseudonym, something similarly cutesy as the other female forum members like Unicorn Girl Rainbow Flyer, and talk about how my lover wanted me to join him in slowly torturing and killing a teenage virgin, and then eating the victim's heart together to seal our pact of eternal love, and how the thought makes me cry and orgasm like I've never orgasmed with any other man. I wonder how many sympathetic ears I would get. Reader Arpegus wrote in response to the Death Row Lovers forum, and I quote, "I have never seen so passionate declarations of love. Wish I could be loved like that. Being on death row obviously trumps everything else you could ever imagine would attract women. What we call game is nothing compared to this. Even where there is no death penalty, killers are on the top of the food chain. There is a trial here now against a man for killing 3 people, including a pregnant woman. He got a female guard to enter a personal ad for him, resulting in 84 replies. 16 were already married, and 30 sent nude pictures of themselves. Some were journalists, yes, but he has more than enough real loving pussy left to live happily ever after." Unquote. Scott Peterson was on death row barely an hour when he received his first marriage proposal from a female fan. Do all women love convicted killers? No, but the sheer volume and intensity of sexual attraction lavished on death row inmates tells us something very valuable about the deepest, sincerest desires of the female heart. And that something is quite discomforting indeed. While smart, sassy Susie, the DC lawyer chick, may balk at the idea that she would ever tingle in the gina for a death row inmate, the truth is that she is not so far removed from the women who do fall in love with killers. Her separation from those other women is a separation of degree, not kind. For every woman who writes love poems to cold-blooded killers, there are 100 women whose hearts beat fast for an asshole who cheats, a jerk who lies, or an alpha who dominates. The id monster holds dominion over us all, now and evermore. So that's the end of the article. I'm going to go ahead and read some of the comments to you guys. Commenter Chuck says, "It's sad to think that these women of lifers most likely do not cheat on their men, whereas wives of soldiers cheat on theirs with a complete lack of remorse. Shows what women value in a relationship." Commenter Abject Man says, "What's the deal with men being liars?" And that's in quotes. It's the social paradox of lying. Men are lousy liars. So they get caught and they get the rap for being such liars. Women are superb at lying. So they hardly ever get caught. They also have the added quality of being phenomenal at rationalizing their irrational choices, driven by the most primitive parts of their brains. And we get the horseshit claim that women are more honest. Anonymous replies and says, "Abject Man, this lying to yourself phenomenon explains why men get caught more often as well. Most lies are exposed not because of being caught in the lie. More often, lies are exposed through tells. So if you don't believe what you're doing is wrong, you have no tell." So, commenter Poetry of Flesh adds, "I don't find their obsession with death row inmates odd at all. I mean, you have it set up so you're never going to actually know this person, never see their quirks and their turn-offs, never see them lose their temper. They'll never be able to beat you and won't be able to physically cheat on you, at least not with another woman anyways. So it becomes idealization. A lack of reality based on how you want to see that other person. And you never have to worry about that idealization being destroyed because they're on death row. You can make everything perfect in your head. And yes, the whole star-crossed lovers thing goes such a long way for chicks. Romanticizing everything, stepping outside of the confines of a mundane and subpar life to give oneself a bit of fantasy that can't easily be shattered." Heartiste chimes in here in response to that comment, addressing each point as follows. Number 1. These women actually do see their death row guys all the time, and sometimes they spend whole weekends together. Many lifers get parole, and the women are waiting for them at the prison gates, jumping into their arms in loving ecstasy. This isn't fantasy so much as it is delayed reality. And as to his point about the star-crossed lovers bit, Heartiste has this to say. "We should also ask ourselves, why is this particular scenario, these particular men, a fantasy for women? Why isn't the star-crossed lovers a fantasy when it involves Nathaniel Schnerdling, the average beta? Take care to note that women's fantasies all seem to follow the same script, and feature the same types of men. There is a deep-seated Darwinian reason for this, and no amount of hand-waving is going to change that." Alright guys, that'll conclude tonight's reading. There's plenty more comments here that I am actually probably going to cover in a future video of its own. There's just way too many to cover right now. So thanks again for tuning in. This has been the Roissy Reader with Chicks Dig Jerks, a series.